Hi, my name is Zai, and this is me playing Quake Live with the mouse in the Cooler Master MasterKeys Lite. I recently reviewed Cooler Master's budget keyboard and mouse combination, the Devastator II. For the price it seemed decent, but definitely a starter kit rather than something you'd use competitively. And the same is going to be true for this latest combo. But I'll tell you now, this is a huge improvement. If you're going to choose between the two, I'd recommend spending the extra on this. Now for some details, starting with the keyboard. I'm a bit disappointed they removed the dedicated media keys, but they've given us a function key and put them on the board elsewhere, along with the ability to change the LEDs, the lighting mode options, and more. This combo doesn't come with any software, so everything can be done via the keyboard and mouse. I'll just quickly go through the main modes. You can turn it off, and that way you can see the white backplate. Then there's a slow gradient, RGB steps, solid color, breathing, and a very smooth rainbow cycle mode. You can also change the speed of it and adjust the colors in many of the modes. The board is now a basic rectangle, which is quite popular for its simplicity, and it measures 43.5 by 12.5 centimeters, and it's about 3.5 centimeters high and 4 centimeters with the legs down. On the base we can see the two legs, which have rubberized feet, and of course use your rubber feet to prevent it from sliding. No cable management, just a standard 1.8 meter rubber cable, which you'll also find on the mouse, just a thinner version, and there are no extras on the back. The switches are hybrid mechanical, and I'll give my personal opinion on this right now. I would definitely prefer membrane over this. Hybrid mechanical switches seem to take the worst points of both. Spongy, hard to press in, and they're pretty loud. Other than that, considering the price of this keyboard, it's pretty good. Moving on to the mouse, it's an ambidextrous shape with side buttons on the left, a 3050 optical sensor, on-run switches, and it weighs about 92 grams. This is easily the best part of this combo. There are some grooves in the buttons for comfort, subtle curves and ledges to help with grip on both sides, and the hump is toward the back. The button slope isn't gradual, but because it's a small mouse, I can easily use it in fingertip grip with a roughly 18 centimeter hand. The grip width at the fingers is 5.5 centimeters, and the base length is 10.5 centimeters, so it's a bit off the usual 2:1 ratio. I think I might prefer it to be a bit longer, but it's still good as it is. And it's about 3.5 centimeters high. So at a guess, I'd say this would suit smaller hands, from 12 to 17 centimeters for palm grip, claw grip from 15 to 19 centimeters, and fingertip grip from 16 to 19. Remember, that's a rough guide, everyone is different, and your hand width will be a factor too. On-run switches make the buttons light and easy to press in, which should be suitable for all game types. Here's a listen to the clicks. The left and right feel good, but as usual, they're not quite the same either. Mouse 3 is easy to press in, and there's a lot of tactile feedback on the scroll, along with smooth movement, so that should be good for Counter-Strike and also browsing. The side buttons feel a bit cheap by comparison, but they're comfortable and easy to press in, without much travel distance, and I had no accidental clicks with the DPI button, so the buttons are quite good, especially for the price. For the build quality, it's all plastic, with the sides being a little more textured, and the shape should help with any sweat problems. It rattles a little when shaking it, but I think the cable and scroll wheel might be a tiny bit loose. If I hold those, I can't hear any rattle. When tapping it, there is no obvious problem, and even though it's about 92 grams, it does feel a little unbalanced toward the back. Again, quite good for the price. As said, there is no software, but you can change things on the mouse by holding in certain buttons, like turning off the lights, and changing the mode and the speed. And the RGB is smooth on the back and the wheel. Now, I had some people asking about the testing for the Devastator II, so I'll compare the two mice sensors now. First, I'll just do some rocket jumps. Pretty easy to do with the MasterKeys Lite. But the Devastator II spins out on the second jump. To use this, I have to slow down. You can also see that the movement isn't as smooth. It seems to become bumpy every now and then. I can't seem to make the MasterKeys Lite spin out, but of course the Devastator II is easy to spin out. MasterKeys Lite is also more responsive, meaning less sensor latency. And in the sniper test, it tracks small movements fairly smoothly. The Devastator 2 doesn't look too bad, but the bumpiness still kicks in, and sometimes it's really noticeable when it's zoomed out. Testing for acceleration and deceleration, It's hard to get an exact test done, but the MasterKeys Lite seems like it has none. The Devastator II has a fair bit of acceleration, and both have a high liftoff distance, being around 3 DVDs each. The MasterKeys Lite is slightly under though. In the line test, there is some jitter on the MasterKeys Lite, but otherwise it performs fairly well. Neither of them skip, but the Devastator II has jitter and what appears to be some angle snapping. I was drawing very straight lines. But in the square test, it didn't have it so much vertically, it's more horizontal. And the liftoff movement wasn't too good on it either, but it was fine on the MasterKeys Lite. So again, this is a big upgrade to the Devastator 2. Now some final thoughts. Straight up, the Devastator 2 mouse isn't even worth talking about compared to this new one. That's why I didn't do all the testing in the original review, so I'll focus on the MasterKeys Lite. While I don't really like the feel of the keys and switches on the keyboard, it does look good and has a decent amount of functions. The mouse would be why it gets recommended overall. My sniper aim is actually really good with it. I was consistently tracking people and hitting shots. I felt in control, confident and comfortable while playing, almost to the point I'd use it in competition, and the sensor performs well enough in game. I actually went back to using this mouse a few times, even when I had finished testing, because it's just a good mouse to use. Is it worth the price? Well, RGB, mouse and keyboard combo, yes and no. They got a lot right. And if they just made the keyboard a standard membrane board, I'd be much more inclined to recommend it. I'll leave the final decision up to you, but the mouse is definitely worth a look. I hope that helps. Special thanks to Cooler Master for sending this out for review. If you want to help support the channel, I'll leave the usual links in the description. Subscribe for more reviews and gaming videos, like this one, and I'll catch you in the next.
Wins the round. Impressive. Last standing. Impressive. Blue wins the round. Accuracy.